Hi, it's Louisa Dahl, and welcome to the Interactive Minds podcast, where I talk with passionate marketers, innovators, and digital leaders about their specific recipes for success. In today's show, I interview Dave Eddy, talking about how he's grown Camplify, a startup in the sharing economy. Here's 3 things you're going to learn. 1, the most important thing in growing a community in a local market. 2, the metrics to measure that matter. And 3, how to establish team culture in a growing business. Let's get into it. Today I'm here with Dave Eddy, who is an amazing marketing and business expert. Now, I've known Dave for a few years. He's a friend of mine who I met through my personal mastermind group, but he also has a lot of plates spinning, and I'm really looking forward to getting into some detail around that today. Dave is the Chief Marketing Officer at Camplify, the Airbnb for caravans and RVs. In addition to this, Dave is the Managing Director at Newcastle-based digital agency Redback Solutions, who offer website development and digital marketing services to companies around Australia. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Hello, Louisa. Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited for our call today and looking forward to hearing all of the things that you've got going on.
Well, that makes 2 of us, Louisa, because I'm always excited when I get to chat to you.
Oh, thank you. Now, Dave, as I said, you have a lot of plates spinning. We know that you're the CMO at Camplify. Can you tell us a little bit about that to get started?
Yeah, so Camplify is essentially Airbnb for caravans and motorhomes. I know it's a bit cliche, but that's the easiest way to explain us. We've been around for almost 5 years in Australia, 2 in the UK. We've just launched in New Zealand and Spain.
Wow.
And we actually help people who own RVs that would like to make income while they're not using them, hire them to holiday makers that want to experience a different sort of holiday.
Fantastic. Now tell us, how did you end up as the CMO at Camplify? How did this come about?
So I just left my day job and was starting a marketing consulting business on the side, and just happened to be sat next to Justin, our CEO, our founder, or my co-founder at a business breakfast, and we just got chatting. He said, I'm looking at starting this thing. I'm like, cool, I'm looking to jump into something on the side as well. And we just we kicked it off in the basement of one of the Newcastle University campuses back in January 2015, I think it was.
Wow, what a journey since then. And so you started working on that business and your other business at the same time.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
There you go. So tell us. Tell us about your other business now.
So Redback Solutions has been around since 1999, and it was originally a software programming company that evolved into a web development, design, hosting business. I started my other marketing business back in 2015, and we'd worked together with Redback on a number of projects, and then ended up buying that business last year, and we sort of merged the 2 together just this July. It's kind of a mix between a fairly new 4 or 5 year old marketing agency and a 20-year-old web development, design, hosting company, all mashed together at the moment. Yeah.
Wow. And how many staff or team do you have now?
We're around about 18, 20, mostly here in Newcastle, and ranges from a mix of web developers, designers, marketers, campaign managers, content people, finance, biz dev. It's a pretty big sort of range at the moment. It's a little bit scary to talk about.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of people to keep happy. That's for sure.
Yep.
Now, how do you split your time between the 2 roles that you've got?
So fortunately, with Camplify, we've taken on a number of rounds of investment over the last couple of years, which has enabled us to grow and put on people to help support my role in the business. So I've been able to step back a fair bit and probably spend a day and a half to 2 days on Camplify and the rest with Redback. Fortunately, we were all in the same office until about 6 months ago, and Camplify's just moved up the road, so it's not far away. It's pretty easy to sort of switch between the 2. But The only secret I have around it is just working stupid hours, long hours, really.
Yes, and I'm keen to talk a little bit about your calendar lately, actually, because when we booked this interview, Dave sent me a screen grab. He sent me a screen grab of his calendar and said, "Here, pick a slot." And I was actually pretty amazed, Dave, that we could find a time relatively quickly to have this chat, because your day pretty much starts at 5 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, best time of the day.
Yeah, tell us about a typical day for you.
I literally just get out of bed, have a shower, brush my teeth, get dressed, kiss my beautiful wife Helena goodbye, and I walk. I literally live across the road from the office on purpose, and just get into the office and hook in. Really.
So you're in the office that early in the morning?
Yeah. It's the only time I can sort of focus, really.
Yeah, I guess it's quiet, uninterrupted time.
I'd recommend it to anyone. I don't know. Just sort of, there's something about getting a few hours work in before the mad rush starts.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it feels like you've actually done your work for the day then, no matter how many meetings you get pulled into, I imagine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, definitely. Tell us about Camplify a little bit more. I think, for the conversation today, I'm keen to delve in a little bit more around how you've grown that business, because I know it's a name that, I hear people are talking about all the time now, starting as a startup in a new industry and something that, I'm sure you're really proud of. What has been your main approach to marketing this business?
Our approach was, we realized early on that it wasn't going to be an easy feat to convince people that they should put their $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 caravan or motorhome on this random website and trust us with it and trust us to look after that asset and help them make money in a safe way. So the main reason that we've been really successful compared to a lot of the other platforms out there is that we've really focused on making sure our owners or in Airbnb terms our hosts are looked after and are confident and have the customer service and the insurance and the support to be successful on our platform, because we know that they're our customer service. They're kind of like our end product. They're delivering the end customer experience to the hirers. And as you probably know, in any sort of travel situation, it can be really easy to ruin a holiday with the wrong sort of approach to that experience, or a mismatch of the hotel room you're booking versus what you saw online. Reviews are a huge thing. So really, it's been a focus on making sure those owners are equipped and empowered to give a great experience for our customers, that has sort of helped us, resulted in so much success in recent years.
Yeah, and I suppose, as you said, they're really the face of the business for you, aren't they? And they actually have contact with the customer in most cases. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have to treat them like that they're part of our team and part of our community, and the really nice thing is that their success is our success. So there's this alignment where, it's in our best interest to make sure our owners are happy, are getting a great result, are earning lots of money, feeling supported if anything goes wrong on a hire, all of that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I interviewed your co-founder Justin at Startup Grind a few years ago, and I think it was him that told me that you actually have some customers now who, do this as their job. So they've now gone and purchased a fleet of caravans or RVs, and they are, using Camplify to lease those out or rent them out on a regular basis. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's a heap of those people. There's there's a few people that have 20 or 30 RVs listed on our site, and they've quit their job and they just use Camplify as their platform to run their small business off. Really.
Wow.
So and that's a really cool thing. Like it's a really nice thing to see, because it's giving people like a passion sort of job where they can they can do something that they enjoy. They are helping people go on holidays every day, and they're supporting their family through our platform. So it's really cool to see all the stories that come through from that sort of angle.
Yeah. And I mean, we've all heard how Airbnb has all these kind of industries springing up around it to support that business. Are you seeing any other areas that have developed around Camplify?
Yeah, there's a few. There's like storage, RV storage. There's managers. Like we have a bit of a network of rental managers that are popping up that just help other people hire out their vans and facilitate the bookings and the pre-hire checklists and
Cool.
those sorts of things. So the actual owners don't need to do much. There's a lot of people on our site that have invested in caravans or motorhomes and have never even seen them,
Right.
which is cool. So there definitely is a bit of that. We've seen sort of buying groups, I guess informal buying groups get put together where people have gone in on a deal to buy 20, 30 vans from a dealer at a decent rate, and then with the whole purpose of just renting them out as an investment option.
Yep.
So there's definitely a bit of that, which is cool to see as well.
Yeah, nice. And what would you say your main channel or marketing kind of tactic that you use to communicate with those caravan and RV owners is? What works best for you?
It's different for the owners and the hirers, and it's also different in different countries. So in Australia, which is our most mature market, if we look at owner acquisition, so finding people to list their vans on our site, Facebook ads has always been really strong for us. PR and getting stories, like just success stories based media out there has been extremely successful. That's probably been our sort of most high impact channel. We've been fortunate enough to get on a Current Affair a few times, the Today Show, Sunrise, all the sort of major traditional media publishers.
Great.
We go to events and like caravan shows, industry specific shows, which go quite well. Content, we've invested a heap into content and just being useful for those people that we want to reach, to list their van on our site. So they're probably the major ones. Google's huge, obviously, and then on the hirer side of things, it's Google, so SEO and Google Ads have been predominantly our most, I guess, successful source of hirer traffic and bookings.
Yep.
And then also the PR stuff has worked well with that. There's so many. I was actually just looking at this last week. We survey people when they sign up, and we ask them, how did you find out about us?
Yep.
And there's such a spread. There's all these other little sort of publications that we've popped into, and there's Instagram, there's YouTube, there's all these other little channels that add up. But those ones I mentioned before are probably our most successful priorities.
Yeah, fantastic. And I don't know if this is the right term, but I believe you've had or have a brand ambassador on as well. Is that true?
Yeah. So the Chief, Paul Harrigan, for those of you that follow rugby league in Australia, he's from Newcastle, which is where we were founded, where we still have Camplify HQ. He's a legend of a guy, and you may have seen him on ads for like NIB and some other pretty well-known national brands. We thought he was a really great fit for Camplify, and he's just great to have as part of the team. Not really because of his football background, just because he's very well presented. He shares our values. He's great on camera, he's going quite well with the ambassador role as well.
Fantastic, excellent. Now, I asked you just before we hit record what you're most proud of with Camplify. Tell us what you said to me.
I said community. I said the network effect that we've created. It's just it's a really weird thing. Like sometimes we just think about I guess how we started and struggling to get people to put vans on our site, and we've built this giant platform that has had its fair share of bugs and improvement opportunities with how it works and all that kind of thing. It's not an easy thing to build, but what's come out of it and what we're most proud of is the community and the fact that we've built this sort of tribe of owners who are they really represent the Camplify brand extremely well, and they're passionate about making Camplify work for them and giving hirers a great experience. And it's just it's cool to think that right now there's a heap of people literally as we're speaking handing over the keys to their pride and joy, their motorhome or their caravan or their camper, and sending off a family onto a holiday without, I guess, us having to invest linear kind of resources to make that happen. So it's, the most pleasing thing is that that's all happening, and then they're referring each other to the platform, and there's no sort of like, the van owners don't think of Camplify as they're in competition with other owners. They think of there's a community and how can we help everyone succeed on the platform. And so that side of things, I think is just really cool.
Fantastic. And was that something you expected when you started off? Did you know that was going to be such an integral part?
We obviously, we read up on Airbnb, as you know, as a lot of I guess, sharing economy startups would do, and we read about that network effect sort of coming along, and we sort of always aim for that, but it wasn't until we didn't know how to make it happen, and I think it wasn't until we just sort of started seeing the business grow organically and naturally through referrals and through these owners building their own businesses off the back of our platform, that we realized, oh wow, this is scaling, and it's and we don't have to put in that much more effort to make it keep on scaling. It sort of hit that flywheel effect.
Yeah. What have you done to encourage or facilitate that community development?
We have a Facebook group that's very popular. We're huge on customer service and community management. So we're investing in people to nurture that community, doing webinars, helping owners succeed. We call them customer success people. So we don't want to be a faceless online company. We're very much a hybrid sort of company where, yes, it's an online platform and the bookings all happen digitally, but at the end of the day, our best customers want to even meet us face to face at shows and things like that, or events. But definitely they want to talk to us on the phone. So we've got a great customer service team, and I think that one of the real keys to our success is that we've really focused on making sure our customer service team, A, really care about our customers, and B, are well equipped to support our customers in the way that they need to be supported.
Yeah.
And above all of our marketing, tactics and channels and advertising and all the stuff we do, I just think that the customer service function is by far and away the most important part of the puzzle that we've needed to get right.
Yeah. Interesting. And you say you've got a Facebook group. I know that you're a bit of an expert in all things social media and also from an SEO perspective. Well, I think compared to the average, I think you could say that. What's your view on Facebook groups and the changes they're making in the space? Do you see any kind of impact?
To be really honest, I'm probably not as up to speed on Facebook groups and all their changes and stuff as I probably was a year or two ago, because of I just haven't been able to focus on that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Growing teams. But for us, the way that we use Facebook groups, it's extremely powerful. And we've got a private one just for people who have already listed with us. So
yep.
And we have there was some teething issues in terms of people using it as a support line or asking about questions that really should just be addressed in private or specific cases and stuff. But we just sort of we just adapted, I guess, the rules of the group and how we manage the group, and it sort of has it's taken a life of its own. We do monitor it, and we hold live videos and webinars and stuff through it, and we do engage with our customers through the Facebook group, but largely they're just talking to each other.
Yeah, cool. So, perfect.
I'm not super up to speed on what the new developments are, but for us it's still working really well.
Fantastic. What's been the hardest thing, do you think, in growing Camplify to where it is today?
It's been that's a tricky one. The hardest thing, there's heaps of it's been a roller coaster. Like seriously, it's been it hasn't been all roses. It's been lots of ups and downs. But I would probably say the most difficult thing is matching the supply with demand. So being a marketplace. A marketplace for holidays, essentially. It's really tricky for me, like from a marketing perspective, to know where to spend our dollars and where to invest marketing budget in a way that is efficient with respect to what stock we have on the platform. So if we've got a certain type of motorhome, like let's say motorhomes in a region like Wollongong or the south coast of New South Wales. We've got a number of those available. How much do we invest in trying to get those people bookings? It's just a tricky balance to get right. Like you never know if we're spending too much or not enough in certain areas. So that's probably one of the main challenges from a marketing perspective. And the other one is. The other one's just, as with I guess with both my businesses, with any business, just people.
Yeah.
Making sure we've got the right people in place and that they're trained up and that they're there for the long haul and that they care about our mission and our values. That's the constant, I guess, the constant challenge that we've noticed.
Excellent. I want to come and talk a bit more about people in a moment, actually. But while we're talking on the marketing side of things, so with Camplify, are you primarily doing localized marketing then?
It's a mix. Like for search, like if we're search is obviously quite localized. When someone's looking to hire out a van, they will be looking either in a location near them to pick up the van, or they'll be looking at somewhere where their destination. So if you're in Sydney and you want to drive up to the mid-north coast of New South Wales and pick up a van when you get there, you can do that. Or you can pick one up from Sydney and drive it up or tow it up. So it's all localized from that respect. And like I was talking about before with the utilization challenge, that's all, I guess, all the data we look at is localized because of that. So trying to kind of meet the amount of vans that we need for the amount of demand in certain regions is a challenge. But then we have like national media stories that are just national or international stories that aren't localized. So it does depend.
Yeah, and you recently launched in Spain. Tell me about that.
Yeah, hola.
Why Spain? What led to that?
Why Spain? There's a number of European countries that we're interested in. It was one that we thought was most suitable after the UK, just because of the amount of camping holidays that happen over there, and the people over there really love that sort of holiday. So we're building a great little team over there, and we're expecting it to go really well. It's a different sort of holiday, different sort of market to Australia, and different to the UK, and also different to New Zealand.
Yep.
But we think it'll be a really good one to crack. So,
what kind of things do you have to do to localize for a new market like that?
Well, Spain was probably the most challenging to date because it was obviously a different language.
Yeah.
So even though I was talking to my head of marketing last week, Jake, head of growth, about like we're looking at our new simple landing page that we have up for our Spain market, and neither of us have any idea what it even says.
It's always a challenge.
Yeah. So I guess giving feedback to our content writers or briefing our PR agency over there or whatever it is becomes a challenge with language. And I know for our product guys, our tech team, it's been a real challenge to localize the platform and get all the translations right. So we've been fortunate enough to bring on board some great people over there who have experience in similar industries for similar sort of platforms in our industry, who their native tongue is Spanish or Portuguese. So that's definitely helped. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's a whole new ball game when you're unable to evaluate some of those things from your perspective.
Yeah.
And so do you think then that having those localized resources is kind of the only way to go about, launching in different countries? And is that something that you can scale further then?
For certain roles, I think you have to have that local knowledge. You have to have people on the ground. It just depends what the roles are. Like we've got some roles that we'll always just manage out of our Australian HQ.
Yep.
I'd say, but there's some roles that we just have to have someone with that local knowledge and experience with the market that they're competing in.
And I assume then that you'll be trying to replicate the community side of things in these new markets as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
How do you go about doing that from scratch? What have you kind of learnt along the way that's made it easier to make this happen?
We've learnt that we just know what to focus on initially, and that's looking after our first handful of customers and owners in the market. So before we even try any tactics to grow a community or make a community be a community, it's about looking after that first handful of customers and making sure they have a good experience, get great results, so we get great stories and case studies.
Yep.
And then the community part happens later. It's sort of I think we learnt from Australia. We tried tons and tons of growth hacks and all these great ideas that we probably just weren't ready for, and they didn't work because we weren't ready for them, and B, tried to do too many at once. So we've kind of learnt. We've learned our secret sauce for launching in a new market and what to focus on first to sort of get to that flywheel effect and I guess be patient for that time to come.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's so important, isn't it? Once you know those key ingredients that you can replicate.
Yeah. Yep.
Fantastic. All right. Now tell us a little bit more. Actually, I have one more question before we go on to team, and it's around metrics. When you're evaluating the success or progress at Camplify, what are the key metrics that you're looking at on a regular basis?
It's listings for us. It's getting good quality vans on the site. So in our situation where we're basically trying to acquire stock. So because it's a peer-to-peer platform, so it's the quality, it's the amount of listings in certain regions and locations that we've onboarded. And then the next one is once they're on board, are they getting booking requests and are they turning into bookings? So we look at traffic. Yeah, we look at video views and all those other metrics on our socials and things like that. But for us, it's those really simple sort of metrics in terms of getting listings on our site and getting booking requests for those listings that matter most.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have a fulfillment rate kind of percentage or something metric that you look at?
Not that I could share. But,
no, that's okay.
yeah, we definitely do. And obviously a huge focus is always to maximise the percentage of people that come on and request a booking on Camplify.
Yeah.
We want as many of those people to actually find a van that's right for them.
Yes.
So that conversion rate piece is really key.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, let's talk a little bit more around team and culture, because obviously you've got two teams that you're kind of running. What's your marketing team at Camplify look like?
It's always evolving. So we have a central marketing team with a head of growth, myself. As I mentioned before, I've sort of taken a little bit of a back step in just an advisory sort of management role at the moment.
Yep.
And then we've got some social media and content people. We've got a number of freelancers we work with for content. We've got campaign managers for our search and Facebook, etc. We have a head of PR who she's an absolute gun. She's ex Disney, ex Lego, I think.
Awesome.
So really experienced head of PR that helps us tell our story and get us all those awesome placements. We're growing. We've got marketing managers or marketing coordinators and events people in each country that we're operating in, and then we have community manager type roles who are kind of marketing but kind of more, I guess, business development. And then our our preference is to use specialists when we need them in certain areas. If we've got a push on a certain channel, then we can lean on specialists to help us for, I guess, project-based marketing.
Yeah, fantastic. And what do you find is, really important in terms of growing and establishing a culture within a growing team like this?
It's really having everyone across and on board with our mission and our values. So making sure everyone from the CEO to the marketing team to the customer service to everyone in our company knows why they come to work every day at Camplify, and knows what we're trying to achieve and where we're headed, and we keep everyone updated on, I guess, the progress of the business with like all hands calls each month and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Our Slack is an amazing tool that we've used from basically day dot, and so there's always great conversation in there. Like everyone's sharing ideas and sharing wins and that kind of thing. So I think I forgot what your question was.
Oh no, just any tactics around building culture or establishing culture. Yeah.
Yeah. So honestly, like as a tactic, Slack is a great one. We've got all these awesome sort of channels that people can just jump in and help each other with, or give shout outs, etc. Yeah, in line with visions. Probably the other thing is like we make sure that we have social events like fairly often.
Yeah.
And we make sure that we really make sure in that interview, in that hiring process, that everyone that comes on board at Camplify is aligned to the values of the team. So there's a lot of talented people out there, but not necessarily all of them are a fit for us as a culture.
Yeah.
So I think that's a real key, and same with Redback. It's pretty often that we come across very talented individuals that would be great at their job function, but if they're not a fit for our culture, it's never going to be it's never going to work. So it's just, I guess, having that courage to be picky about the people that you bring onto your team. I think is really important.
Yeah, that's right. And I guess taking the urgency out of that sometimes as well. I mean, you've obviously hired a lot of team members, and I know you, like everyone else, has, occasions where it doesn't work out as planned.
Oh man, I've learned that the hard way.
What can you do at that interview stage to really ensure that culture fit?
Lulu, I'm the worst person to ask this question because I'm a shocker. Like I'll want to hire almost everyone. I'll see the good in everyone and get excited about hiring people just for whatever reason.
Yep.
And so for me personally, I think everyone's different, but for me personally, it's about like stepping back, not jumping into a decision too quickly, and really kind of thinking about what the risks are of hiring that person and are they actually a fit. The other one is I typically at Redback, for example, I'll before we hire anyone now, I'll put them into a little catch-up sort of informal interview with a few senior team members.
Yeah.
Without me, and then they pretty much get the final say on whether they're going to be a fit or not. And I think that's really important because at the end of the day, it's not me. It's not going to be me that's dealing with that new team member as much as the team are. So I think it's important for them to get a good vibe and get a good gut feel, and sort of make sure that they think they're going to work well together.
Yeah, that's right. Getting that extra input is definitely helpful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, Dave, I can't believe that you do all you do. I mean, being involved in two businesses and obviously...
Hey, please, I don't have kids. That's
not yet, Dave. But yes, well,
I think that's going to be a lot more of a responsibility than what
I don't know. Don't they say employees are a bit like kids sometimes? Didn't hear that here, everybody. Wasn't for me. All right. So yeah, Dave, I mean, you do an amazing job, I think, running, keeping both these businesses going and growing in the way that they are. It's really exciting. And I know that I really have enjoyed the times we've spent together masterminding and being able to talk about all this stuff in a lot of detail and share learnings and advice. If you were looking back over, the last 5 years, what's something that you wish you knew back then that you know now? Does anything spring to mind?
There's lots of things that I just wish I just didn't bother spending time on, like things that I've got half done that weren't a high priority, but I probably knew at the time, this isn't a high priority, but I just thought, I'll just take this on, or I guess it comes down to saying no to things that aren't a high priority. I've never been great at that, so. I couldn't say it's something that I didn't know back then because I knew not to do that, but it's just a little habit that I have. So
I think everyone does it though, don't they? I mean, I was actually just thinking that same thing today. I was looking at my to-do list and going, I've got lots to do, but still I haven't really included the things that I really have to do or that I know are really going to turn the dial for me. So I think it's a really good reminder for all of us just to review those lists and those things that we want to get done and think about what's the outcome, and is it the biggest outcome and bang for buck in terms of time that we're spending?
Yeah, the focus, that ability to focus on that one thing. There's actually a really good book called it's called
The One Thing, isn't it? Yeah.
I forget. I think it's Gary Keller, maybe.
Yes, I think so.
But it's a ripper of a book. Not say that I've paid any attention to it or done anything with it, but I remember agreeing with it.
Yeah, and there's that central question in the book, isn't it? Like, what's the one thing that you can do today? I forget the whole question, but I mean, it is quite a good book to read to get you thinking and have that perspective.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thanks again for being on the show today, Dave. It's been exciting to have a chat with you. If people want to follow up with you afterwards, what's the best way they can reach out?
Our website is, probably email is easiest, isn't it? I'm on Facebook, just Dave Eddy, or my email is dave@camplify.com.au or dave@rb.com.au, either of those.
Fantastic.
Always happy to chat. Lily, thanks so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
No, it's been fantastic. Thanks again for being here.
Pleasure. Talk soon.
Will do. Thanks for listening. If you liked this episode, please remember to subscribe. My recommended action item from today's show is to think about what you can say no to today so that you can focus in on what matters. Please join me in the Interactive Minds Facebook group, where we have a community of hundreds of marketers and the marketing industry connects. You can access today's show notes at interactiveminds.com/podcast. See you next week.